Welcome to Inside Insights, your quick hit of tips, tools, and trends for manufacturing, distribution, and Dynamics 365 Business Central. Brought to you by InsightWorks.
You know, there is a very specific kind of groan that you hear in a finance department when someone says the words digital transformation.
Oh, I know that sound. I know it well. It's the sound of a checkbook flying open and a calendar just filling up with meetings for the next 18 months?
It's practically a physiological reaction. And if you're a finance leader running, say, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, digital transformation usually implies three things.
Let me guess. Expensive, disruptive, and a good chance it won't even work.
Cynical, but
Yeah.
historically pretty accurate.
Right. Which is exactly why today we're going to completely flip the script on that. We've pulled together a whole stack of resources, technical docs, user reviews, and we're exploring a concept we're calling quiet wins.
I like that.
Yeah, we're not talking about overhauling your entire system architecture. We are talking about stewardship.
Stewardship is the perfect word for it. It's the adult in the room approach to your ERP.
Okay. It's not about some big mission accomplished banner. It's just about making the business run smoother, faster, and cleaner without all the organizational drama.
And here's the hook for this deep dive. We are going to analyze 9 very specific apps for Business Central. And they cover, everything from the warehouse floor right up to the controller's desk.
And the common thread.
The common denominator is that they're all free.
And that's usually where a CFO gets immediately suspicious. Because free usually implies cheap or useless or some kind of Trojan horse.
Exactly. We're going to sell your data. Or, it only works for 3 days and then you have to pay.
Right. But in the Microsoft ecosystem, and specifically with these tools we're looking at, free is actually... it's a strategic lever. It changes the entire risk profile.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit before we jump into the apps themselves. Why should a CFO, who literally controls the budget, care so much about free tools? It's not just about saving a few bucks on licensing, is it?
No, not at all. The licensing cost it's negligible compared to the implementation cost of a big project. The real value of free here is the absence of friction. Yeah, think about the normal corporate procurement process. If you want a piece of software that costs, say, $5,000 a year, you need a PO, you need ROI justification, maybe a steering committee meeting.
You need political capital. You have to go around and convince people.
That's it. But if it's free, you install it in the sandbox. You test it. If it works, you push it to production. It completely bypasses the bureaucracy.
So it lets a leader say, I see a problem and I'm going to fix it this afternoon instead of I'm going to try to fix it next quarter.
You've got it. It's a way to create a culture of continuous improvement. The best run companies I've seen, they aren't doing these massive episodic overhauls every 5 years. They're constantly tweaking, constantly tightening things up.
And these quiet wins let you do that. All right, let's get into the gears then. We've got 9 tools to cover and we've grouped them by where they hit the P&L. So we're going to start where the money's actually made. Or, lost. Production and planning.
The heartbeat of the whole operation.
And often the source of the biggest headaches. So the first tool in our stack is the graphical scheduler. Now, the problem it describes, it seems almost archaic. It talks about production schedules living on whiteboards.
You would be shocked, or maybe you wouldn't, at how many multi-million-dollar companies run their entire production floor on a whiteboard that probably hasn't been updated since Tuesday.
The old hallway chat management style.
It's a total nightmare for a finance leader. Because you have Business Central, which thinks production's happening one way.
Right. Yeah.
And then you have the shop floor manager who knows that machine A is down, so he moved the job to machine B, but he only wrote that down on a sticky note.
So the data in your ERP is essentially fiction at that point.
It's complete fiction, precisely. And that's what leads to reactive decision-making. You promise a customer a delivery date based on the system, but the reality on the floor is totally different.
The variance reporting must be a mess.
Oh, it is. Because the system plan and the actual execution never, ever aligned.
So the graphical scheduler, is this just making the data look pretty, or does it actually change the workflow?
It visualizes the production orders on a timeline thing, like a Gantt chart right inside Business Central. But the quiet win isn't the visual part, it's the interactivity.
Meaning?
You can literally drag and drop a production order from one machine to another or from Tuesday to Wednesday.
And when you drag that bar, it's actually updating the underlying data in Business Central.
That is the absolute key. It forces the reality of the shop floor to sync up with the financial system. You're not just drawing a picture, you're rescheduling your capacity in real time.
So if I'm the CFO, I'm not adopting this because I like charts. I'm adopting this because it kills the excuse of, oh, I didn't tell the system.
It kills the shadow schedule. There's only one schedule, everyone sees it, and if it changes, the system knows immediately. You start using your existing capacity better.
That makes a ton of sense. All right, let's move to the next one, which this one touches a very specific nerve for me. The enhanced planning worksheet. This is all about the spreadsheet from hell.
Yes. The spreadsheet that's so complex, only one person in the entire company knows how to update it.
And if they go on vacation, the whole company stops buying raw materials.
That's the one. The standard procedure in probably, 60% of companies is that planners don't trust the ERP's logic, the MRP.
It's a black box to them.
So they dump all the data to Excel, run their own VLOOKUPs and pivots to decide what to buy, and then they manually key the orders back into Business Central.
And as the CFO, you have zero visibility into why those buying decisions were made.
Yeah.
You just see the cash going out the door.
And you can't audit a spreadsheet that was overwritten 3 weeks ago. You lose the logic. Why did we buy 10,000 units? Was it a demand spike? A bulk discount? Who knows?
So what does the enhanced planning worksheet do?
It effectively rebuilds that Excel-like interface, but inside Business Central. It gives the planners the view they're comfortable with, columns they can sort and filter, but it's all looking at live, real data.
So you're meeting them where they are? You're not forcing them to become programmers. You're just giving them a better spreadsheet that happens to live in the ERP.
And for the finance team, that's the quiet win of visibility. You can see the logic. You can see the demand signal that triggered the PO. It brings discipline to the spending without you having to be the bad guy.
Speaking of discipline and planning, that leads us right to the third app in this group, the Enhanced Forecasting Worksheet. This seems to tackle that classic war between sales and operations.
War is definitely the right word. Sales wants to forecast low so they can crush their bonuses.
And operations wants to forecast high so they never ever run out of stock.
And finance is stuck right in the middle, just trying to figure out how much cash to keep in reserve. And this whole battle usually happens with 3 different spreadsheets in a monthly meeting that everybody absolutely hates.
And nobody's numbers ever match.
Yeah.
Sales is in dollars, ops is in units.
And finance is trying to reconcile it all. This tool lets you generate and edit forecasts directly in Business Central using historical data as the baseline.
So instead of arguing about whose spreadsheet is the right one,
you stop litigating the past. You stop arguing about data validity. Is this the V2 final real version? No. The version in the system is the version.
I love that phrase, litigating the past. That's the definition of an unproductive meeting.
It just clears the noise.
Yeah.
It builds confidence in your forward-looking numbers, which, for a CFO, is the holy grail.
Okay, let's shift gears. We're moving from the planning desk out to the loading dock. Operational control. This is where a lot of margin leakage happens, right?
It is. It's where physical reality smacks into financial theory. If you're not tight here, you bleed money on every single order.
The first app here is Ordership Express, and the scenario it describes is the swivel chair problem.
Right. The shipping clerk has Business Central on one monitor, the UPS or FedEx portal on the other. They copy-paste the address from BC to the carrier site, print the label, copy-paste the tracking number back.
And somewhere in that copy-paste process, 123 Main Street becomes 132 Main Street.
Or they just forget to paste the tracking number. Or, and this is the big one for finance, they choose a shipping method that costs $50 on an order where your margin was only $40.
Ouch. And you don't even find out until the carrier invoice comes in 3 weeks later.
Exactly. Ordership Express brings that whole process inside the ERP. You rate shop, generate the label, and post the shipment, all from one single screen in Business Central.
So the quiet win here is basically margin protection.
It's margin visibility at the point of transaction. You know the cost immediately, plus you get rid of the data entry errors. That tightens the bolts on the whole outbound process.
That seems like a complete no-brainer for anyone shipping physical goods. But then there's the warehouse itself. The material we have highlights WMS Express, now WMS Warehouse Management System. Those 3 letters usually scare people.
They should. A full-blown WMS implementation is often a 6-month, 6-figure consulting project. It is high risk.
So companies avoid it. They just stay on paper, with guys running around with clipboards.
Which means your inventory is only accurate once a year during the physical count. The rest of the time, you're guessing.
Huh.
You think you have 10 widgets, you sell 10, the picker goes to the shelf, and there are only 8.
Now you have a crisis.
A big one. WMS Express is different. It's like the diet version. It's just the essentials. It uses barcode scanning for the absolute basics. Receiving, picking, put away. It doesn't force you to reconfigure your entire warehouse.
So it's the bridge between paper and complex WMS.
It is. It lets you move to real-time inventory. When a picker scans an item, it's deducted from inventory right then, not when the paperwork makes it back to the office at 5 p.m.
And that real-time piece is crucial for cash flow, right? If you know what you have, you don't have to overbuy safety stock.
Precisely. It's a controlled step forward. You get 80% of the benefit of a WMS with maybe 10% of the headache. For a CFO, that's an incredible ROI on a free tool.
Okay, let's move into the back office,
Right.
the unsexy stuff. Admin efficiency and governance. This is where the death by 1,000 cuts happens with labor hours.
This is where you burn out your best people with mindless, repetitive work.
App number 6 is the Import-Export Power Tool. Now, Business Central already talks to Excel. We know that. So why do you need a power tool?
Because the standard Edit in Excel feature, it has guardrails. It's for simple tasks. But let's say you need to update credit limits for 500 customers based on a new risk model.
You're usually asking a controller or a senior accountant to do that. These are high-salary people.
And if they have to do it manually, record by record, you're just setting money on fire. The Power Tool allows for validation, for speed, and for repeatable configurations.
So it's leverage. You want your controller analyzing the P&L, not data entering customer cards all day.
Cleaner data, less effort. That is the definition of a quiet win.
Speaking of clean records, let's talk about the digital equivalent of a messy desk. DocStender.
The where's the invoice game.
I've played that game. The auditors are in the conference room. They ask for a sample of 10 purchase invoices, and suddenly the whole finance team is turning the office upside down.
It's panic mode.
Yeah.
And it looks unprofessional. It signals to the auditor that your controls are weak.
To DocStender. Is it really just drag and drop?
That's it. You have the purchase invoice record open in Business Central. You drag the PDF from your email, drop it on the record. It's done.
It sounds almost too simple to be a strategic tool.
But think about the downstream effect. 6 months from now, you're reviewing that account. You don't have to go hunting. You click the record and you see the source document right there.
It creates a self-service audit trail.
And it solves the bus factor. If Bob wins the lottery and leaves tomorrow, the knowledge of where those invoices are doesn't leave with him. It's in the system.
Okay, we have 2 more, and they're a bit niche but important. The safety logbook. This feels like it sits a little outside of finance, usually.
It does until there's a lawsuit or a fine. Then it becomes a finance problem very, very quickly.
The issue here is the binder on the shelf.
Exactly. Safety incidents, training logs, they live in a physical binder or some random spreadsheet. When an OSHA inspector shows up, there's this mad scramble to prove compliance.
And if you can't, your premiums go up or you get fined.
The safety logbook just brings that data structure inside Business Central. It's about your compliance posture. A CFO's job is to protect the assets of the company, and this is a very cheap insurance policy.
Okay, finally. App number 9, the barcode generator power tool. This one sounds like it belongs to the IT department.
It usually does, which is exactly why it's on this list.
The problem it describes is, you want a barcode on a document, like a packing slip. But to get it, you usually have to hire a developer to customize the report.
You're paying a consultant $200 an hour just to add a font to a report. It's a total waste of budget. This tool lets you embed barcodes on existing documents without any code.
And why is that a quiet win for the CFO?
Because barcodes are the prerequisite for automation. You can't use that WMS scanner we talked about if your documents don't have barcodes to begin with. This tool removes the technical hurdle. It lowers your IT spend, and it speeds up operations.
So if we look back at this whole stack, scheduling, forecasting, shipping, warehousing, admin, safety, none of these are sexy in the Silicon Valley sense.
No, they're boring, and that is exactly why they are so powerful.
They just reinforce good behavior.
They grease the wheels, they take the friction out of the daily grind, and let's loop all the way back to the start. They are free.
Which means, for you, the listener, the barrier to entry is effectively 0.
That is the no-brainer logic. If you install the graphical scheduler and the production manager absolutely hates it, you uninstall it. You lost nothing but an afternoon. But if it works, you've solved a major communication bottleneck for $0.
It really reframes the role of the finance leader. We talked about stewardship at the top. This is stewardship in action.
It positions exploring these tools not as experimentation, which sounds risky, but as optimization. You're just taking care of the system. You're looking for the rust and cleaning it off.
And you're doing it without having to wait for permission. You don't need a CapEx request signed by the board to install a free app that fixes a shipping error.
And that's the real leadership takeaway here. Sometimes the most impactful wins are the ones you just quietly execute. You don't ask, you just solve.
It's empowering. Instead of waiting for the perfect ERP system that you might get in 2028, you make the current system 5% better today.
And then another 5% next month. That compounds. That is how high-performing finance teams operate. They don't wait for a savior. They just fix the friction that's right in front of them.
So to you listening, whether you're the CFO, the controller, or just the person in the office who is tired of the chaos, the question is pretty simple. What's the friction point you've just stopped noticing? Because, well, that's just how we do things here.
Is it the spreadsheet war? The hallway scheduling? That frantic search for invoices every month?
There is very likely a quiet win sitting right there, just waiting to be downloaded.
Go look for it. Claim it.
And enjoy the silence of a system that just works. Thanks for diving in with us.
Take care.